In a new tutorial, I want to explain step by step how to watch with a single decoder on two televisions. This is called a mirror, as it's commonly known. Now I've found an easier and more practical way to make this type of connection, so I'm going to explain it step by step, and thank you very much for following me. In the previous video I had already explained how to do this type of work, and I had recommended that we make this type of connection with an RCA cable, using the HDMI cable for the main one and an RCA cable for the extension of the other television. But with this type of RCA cable, the problem is that we can't find the methods we need. It could be, for example, 15 meters, 10 meters, 20 meters to go from a room to the kitchen, for example, or from the room to a bedroom, or from one bedroom to another bedroom, and so on. Or in the case of a commercial business where we can place one television in one room and the other in the other room. It's very good because this system is useful to us, for example, for football matches in the commercial aspect, because it will be seen repeatedly in the same way. What you see on one TV you see on the other. So, it's a good system. When I suggested we use this RCA cable, it turned out we could only find a certain number of meters of it. It's a bit complicated to find, as I said. These 9, 10, 20 meters that we need to be able to place it from one room to the other room because of the distance. And it also becomes somewhat cumbersome because in this part a connection is needed, which will look like this and will be very large so that it can be passed through a duct, or so that it is not seen, so that it remains clearly visible. So, in this case we're going to need a roll of Ethernet cable. This cable is very good and it is readily available, and we're going to strip these internal cables that come from the pair and are of different colors. So, we're going to peel them and take them out. Taking out the rolls, they come in 100 pairs. At least I have 2 here now. You can take out many more so we can place it, and then we're going to take them out and connect them to our RCA jacks. In this case, the sockets are very easy to find in an electronics store or a hardware store. So, now that I have the RCA cables, in this case, I have them crimped. I have already got this one that goes to one end, this one and this other one that goes to the other end. Once I had stripped the Ethernet cable, I extracted these lines that come from A2. In total, all of these are included. I'm only going to use 2 pairs, in this case this one and this one. In my case, they're already crimped, so I'm going to use the one that has the cable, and I'm going to make the connection on this cable. For this case we will need, I'm going to use a lighter and this knife, or X-Acto knife, or scalpel, whatever you call it in your country. Please be very careful with this tool so as not to hurt yourself. Then I proceed to heat the cable's coating, and I do it. And here 2 lines or 2 cables will appear. Make a little something here. And as you can see, here I have 2 lines or 2 cables that I'm going to join to this part. That's how it's going to look. And I also proceed to peel this one. And that's how I end up with the 2 cables. Then I proceed to connect it to these with the internet line. And I proceed to join him like this. First one, I'm going to weld him too. I'm going to put a small solder point on it with the soldering iron. And style solder. So, we would already have this line and we are going to use this other one to connect it to the other two cables. And I'm also going to proceed to weld them. Ready. Having done this, we will then have this joined together like this. I'm also going to put insulating tape on it when I solder it so that there's no interference between them. And we don't lose the signal. I intertwine them like this and it looks great for passing through a duct or a channel. Ah. 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 Okay, here we have the 4 cables connected. We can also isolate the 4 of them. Ready. So, here we have the 4 cables that go to the connectors joined together. And now we go to the other end and do the same. We've already intertwined all this cable. We proceeded to do the same with the other end. No. And we peeled this part too. Ah. And we proceed to join it. It is very important to know which one belongs to each person. Of these, the one who ended up with the red one and the one who ended up with the white one must remain. Then, we identify which cable goes with which one. White goes with white in this case. And blue goes with the next one. You have to have the same polarities on one side as on the other. We do the same with the other one. So let's identify which one goes with each quantum. Well, here we have the 4 cables joined together. We can also isolate all 4 of them. Ready? Okay. So now we're going to proceed to place our decoder on the main television, which is going to be this one, which is here in the living room. And I'm going to put the other one, the other television, in another room that I'll tell you about later. Then let's place our decoder. This is the LH01, which is high definition and has the HDMI port, and the DRSA, which is where we are going to connect the second television. So, we proceed here to connect to the HMI. Ready? We're also going to connect it to the power charger. Perfect. We already have it connected to the yellow and red port. The yellow one is the one that gives the video and the red one gives the audio. It is very important to identify the cables that are the same color both there and here. Then, we proceed to turn on the sensor. And we always have to put it in HDMI. Because we have the television connected here with this main one for this in HDMI, here it is on the air. I have it connected to HDMI 1. And we can already see DIRECTV here. Let's go to the other television that's in the other room. The good and easy thing is that with this cable we can handle it and place it around the corners to run it along the bottom of the baseboard. Or along the top, but if we put it up here it will look bad, unless we put a channel around it. Then we move to this room here, where I have the other television. Similarly, here we have to connect it to the back, where the red cable is for audio, and in this case to the yellow one which is for video. And as you can see, we are seeing the same thing here as there. Right now, we're watching the main TV in the living room, and here's an additional room where I have the TV mirrored. Here I can only control the volume. The surprise of the new episodes Gabi Durand Villa of Aliens. New episodes only because in order to do everything like changing channels and all, tap here on the main channel change button. It will change automatically here. Someone told me and asked me what would happen if I turned this one off. So, let's see what happens. So, let's turn off the TV because if we turn off the decoder, it will turn off both here in the main room and the one in the room. But if I turn off the television here, we can see that the programming continues here. With this DIRECTV remote control, if we are in this room, we can change the channels from here. With the main television turned off, there are no problems. I'll say it again. The only thing you can do is raise and lower the volume. And that's how easy it would be to connect in a restaurant or any other establishment with this simple cable. It is much more practical and easier to place and install without causing so much obstruction, and it can easily pass through a channel or duct. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and may you have many blessings. We're in touch.